And this exhibit, curated by the Atlantic City Free Public Library, is really going to be something that visitors that come to Atlantic City, it's going to be a reason visitors do come to Atlantic City, is to see this exhibit. So at this time, I'd like to welcome the director of the Atlantic City Free Public Library, Robert Rynkiewicz.
Good morning, everyone. At City Hall, people just refer to me as Bob because they can't get my last name correct. I wonder if my staff would say the same thing about me. We are seeing some important and promising steps to revitalizing Atlantic City. Jim Johnson's report to the governor states that Atlantic City is at a moment of economic opportunity and promise, signaling the opening of Stockton University in Atlantic City, South Jersey industries, small businesses, and the reopening of 2 casinos. The Atlantic City Executive Council, the Atlantic City Coordinating Council are working in the city and the community, and I commend Mayor Gilliam for forming the Atlantic City Historic Commission. Thank you very much. I would like to just say that change comes in big and the smallest of steps, and today's significant occurrence is this renovation. Today we are celebrating a beautiful renovation project and a wonderful exhibit, the Atlantic City Experience at Jim Whelan Boardwalk Hall. This exhibit tells the story about some of the places, people, and events that helped shape this city. Atlantic City started as an idea back in the 1850s, when 2 businessmen thought this island would be a great tourist destination. A lighthouse was built, and it was first lit in 1857. The boardwalk was constructed in 1870. The Atlantic City Library opened its doors in 1903. And this grand structure, the Boardwalk Hall, opened its doors in 1929, and it also houses the largest organ in the world. Let's not forget that entertainment was still and was and still is the mainstay of the city, with nightclubs and entertainment throughout the city, especially Kentucky Avenue in the 1930s through 1960s. Residents want to know about their city. Tourists want to know a little bit about the city that they're visiting. So the Atlantic City Experience at Jim Whelan Hall will help tell some of this story. It's a beautiful venue thanks to hardworking people, and it does take a village. We would not be sitting here if it wasn't for CREDA, and I thank them for recognizing the library as the preeminent resource for all things pertaining to Atlantic City and history. The Sosh architect firm that designed this wonderful space. I would also like to thank the individuals that loaned the library some of the items that you will see in the display units. Thank you so much. The Atlantic City Experience at Jim Whelan Boardwalk Hall would not be here if it wasn't for generous donations to the foundation of the Atlantic City Free Public Library. And I thank all of those that gave their funds to help us to do this project. Of course, someone has to knock at the door, make that telephone call to ask for funds. The library really didn't have any money to do this project. And we needed somebody to spearhead the project. So we were lucky enough to have a daughter of the city, a person who genuinely loves and cares about Atlantic City, and that is Rynkiewicz. There were several moments in the history of this project that I thought we really had hit a roadblock. But between the staff of the library, Maureen Shear-Frank, the previous library director, Heather Perez, the staff of Sosh, Jackie Murillo, our archivist, Tom Sykes in particular, who helped out so much with us, and Vicki, who persisted, and here we are standing today. Vicki, I thank you again so much. The Atlantic City Heritage Collections of the library are a treasure trove of information and research. And our archivist, Jackie Murillo and Heather Perez, are the keys to unlocking all that knowledge. They did a fabulous job on this project. Let me also acknowledge library staff members Anna Reyes, our business manager, and Don Latham, our public relations officer. In the summer of 2012, the Atlantic City Library assumed operation of the Atlantic City Historical Museum on the pier, Garden Pier. Even before that summer, the Atlantic City Library, led by Maureen Scher-Frank and Mr. William Cheatham, Library Board President, had a vision for an Atlantic City museum, and we were going to call that museum the Atlantic City Experience. This exhibit is a significant step towards that larger goal that we are still going to pursue. Mr. Cheatham has been and is a great inspiration to me. He always places emphasis on not just the implementation of a project, but the continued support. Mr. Cheatham frequently says to me that you just don't build something. You work together and you need to support it. The library will maintain this exhibit and refresh displays annually, so that over time we will tell a very interesting story of Atlantic City. We will have events in the hall, concert goers, sports fans that come into this hall will have an opportunity to look at Atlantic City history and learn a little before they go into the event. We plan to conduct lecture series. This is not going to be a static display. We plan to tell the story of the North Side, Prohibition years, early days of gambling, and just show the diversity of this city. The residents of Atlantic City rely upon the Atlantic City Free Public Library for the resources they need for information about the city, job skills, careers, health, education, business, and consumer decisions. The resources and programs provided for children are essential factors for the development of reading and cognitive skills which impact on education. Our summer reading clubs, the Fade to Books Barbershop program continues to help our children in the city. I would like to ask all of you today to focus not on the success of this project, because this project is going to continue to succeed. Please focus on the significance of what can develop in the city if we all work together. Look at what we've accomplished just with this renovation project. In closing, let me quote Jim Johnson's report to Governor Murphy. The quality of life in Atlantic City is critical to the future of this city. Thank you.